Welcome to the video. Blood volume by H3O2. Blood volume is your savior. Blood volume can only be reached by the H3O2 in fruits. So the blood volume prevents disease. The blood volume prevents injuries. The blood volume cures disease. So a human body is a watery body. A body on an unnatural cooked diet has only 70% of water maximum. When you go to the fruits, a fruit eater has 90 or over 90%. And this makes that there is always a reserve to prepare problems. So you cannot include bananas in there. You cannot include Hass avocado in there because these things gonna pull water from the system. You cannot put nuts in there, they're gonna pull water from the system. You cannot put seeds in there, they're gonna pull water from the system. So the blood volume was created by naturopathy, Lauren Lockman, because Dr. Batman in India created a book, You Are Not Sick, Your Body is Begging for Water. And Lauren was intelligent and he created the high watery fruits refeeding after water fasting. So the cellular hydration elevating after water fasting. And that makes a huge, the watermelons, the papayas, the coconuts, the pineapples, they are given the first days. And those fruits are the highest in water and have the sugar for the brain. So these fruits are bringing in a water or blood volume reserve. So think about it when you get a stroke, when you get a disease, that is meaning that you are clogging, that your pipe is clogged, that your arteries are clogged. So you cannot expect that you ignore this advice because this is a life-saving advice, the blood volume. So the blood volume, you can be seen when you measure the blood pressure. When you measure the blood pressure, the systolic and diastolic should be 40-45 difference. And this tells you how much water and blood reserve, blood volume reserve you have in your body. When I gonna eat bananas, which are 72, I gonna pull 3% water from the system. Because when you are years on fruits, you become sensitive for hydration, especially after water fasting 3 times. and staying on high watery fruits. So you become sensitive. I gonna feel dehydrated. I gonna want herbivore lettuce, or I gonna want herbivore celery after these bananas because they're gonna dehydrate me. And many people seem to be well on living bananas, but they are not sensitive on dehydration. So they are not sensitive on having more blood volume. They're eating fruit, but they have no knowledge about the watery fruits that increase the blood volume. Because you cannot drink any drink to get that volume. You need to have cellular water. So if you have water and you put a lemon in there, you're gonna get H3O2 water. Now this water is absorbable in the cell. If you drink water or any other drink, beer or Coca-Cola, you don't hydrate. That water just goes through and pollutes and does not go into the cell. So we cannot talk about cellular hydration, because the cellular hydration, that is where you go to the more blood volume. So this in the morning is your cleaning. You will not need to do, you will never need colonics. You will never need an enema when you do this, because this is your big cleansing in the morning when you don't eat. So the water becomes alkaline by adding a lemon. Before it was H2O, it was not absorbable. Now it's absorbable. So, and you will see again over and over that fruits are the food that we are designed for, because you need to look at the animals. If a cow is a herbivore and walks on 4 legs, how do we walk? We walk straight up on 2 legs. When a cow has 4 stomachs to digest all the cellulose, how do we do with the cellulose with 1 stomach? When the lion has a short and wide digestive tract to bring the meat, a very toxic meat, very fast to the other end for eliminating, how do we do when the lion has 3 times the body length digestive tract, and when we have 12 times digestive tract of the body? So it doesn't make any sense to put in animal carcass in that long system. It gonna ferment in there, it gonna rot in there, it gonna become highly acidic, and it gonna create worms in there. It gonna dehydrate you. It gonna raise your uric acid and destroy your joints. So it gonna destroy your thyroid, because the thyroid cannot handle overt fat, which is in the meat. The meat has mainly protein and fat, and we are a carbohydrate machine. So why do we put fat and protein in there. When the body is a carbohydrate machine, it doesn't make any sense. It's gonna only clog the system. So we are talking about blood volume is your savior, is saving your life. The blood volume cannot, we cannot become it because the meat is dehydrating to get through the system. All your cooked food is dehydrating to get through the system. So there is no talking about more blood volume, there is only talking about dehydration.